Hello, today I want to talk about glazing in oil. Now, glazing is a traditional way of painting. Leonardo Mona Lisa is the most famous painting in the world, and that's very thin layers of glazing. He was a master at that. And so today I want to do a demonstration of it. Glaze is normally used for medium, and a traditional medium is linseed oil with like turpenoid, and it's more like half and half mixture. And you will, when you go to paint, you will take the medium and you would do a very thin layer of whatever color you use. Now, when you put the color on the surface, you gotta let it dry. And when it's dry, then you can put your second layer of color on top. That's a glaze, and that's a traditional way of painting. If you want to paint faster, if you want the if you want the painting to go faster, you can use a GALKYD medium. This dry within an hour if it's a very thin layer of paint. If it's a little thicker, it'll dry within 24 hours. So I want to demonstrate it for you today. This is an apple I drew in charcoal a few days ago. I took it's drawn on regular paper. So I took matte medium and sealed it. So when I put the paint on top, it won't smear. Okay. So we get the medium and grab some red. You know, apple normally is red. And just glaze over it, real thin layer. Some more medium. You see how you can still see the drawing underneath? That is what its glaze is. Yeah, you still could see the artwork underneath. Now when you glaze, each layer get darker. So the rule of thumb is, if you want to make something darker, you put thin glazes on it. That would be like the shadows. And if you want something lighter, you would use thicker paint to lighten it up. Now, say if I did this glaze and I don't want to wait till tomorrow to add the light, I can take a lighter color and go into it since it's still wet. Like I'm gonna grab some white. A little bit yellow. And it's this thick paint. So I would just go right into it since it's already wet and just paint the light part. Okay, I just want to blend it out a little bit. Okay, so thin layer to make the painting darker. You add light, make a thicker paints to make it lighter. So this is normally what Rembrandt would do. He would paint his shadows, his background in real thin layers of glaze. And as far as the lights, he would paint thicker layers for the highlights and the make that a little lighter. Now, if I wanted to make it look more realistic, I would let it dry, and then tomorrow come back and do the process all over again. Each time, thinner layers, blending. Do this a little bit darker. Okay. And just for the background, I'm gonna glaze a thin layer of green. Okay, so this is another thing I wanted to show you. On any type of artwork, you need to have a foundation. And what I mean by that, that's why I had the charcoal drawing. So when I glaze on top of it, you can still see. But if you just glazing on white, you see it's not catching. You gotta do like a lot of layers to cover it to make it a deep green. If I use the same green, put on the black, you kind of stand out because it has something underneath it to work with. All right. So yeah, that's what a glaze is. A thin layer of oil paint spread on the surface, and a glaze make the art darker. when you do each layer. And if you want to make it white, you add thick paint. You could just mix it right into the glaze you have already, or you could let it dry, sand it a little bit, and scumble. That's a real thin light paint that you. It's the opposite of glazing. You lighten it up with a thin white paint. Now, if you want to get us a try, I'm going to have the materials linked in the description below. Yep. So normally this would be on a canvas. You know, canvas, you gesso it. Then either you draw it, like how I did with charcoal, or you can use a painting, because you could paint regular, and then you can glaze on top of your painting. So there's all type of ways of doing it. This is just a demonstration on how to glaze. I hope you learned something. Thanks for watching. And if you like the video, please subscribe and hit the bell for future videos. Goodbye.